And it started out with me and Hunter talking for about an hour, which was a private discussion, but resolving a lot of issues that have been lingering for a couple of years. And then I apologized to Becky Lynch.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
I walked up to her and said, "May I speak with you for a minute?" And I just said, "I'm sorry. That's how we got to where it is." I went over and shook Seth Rollins' hands, and I said, "I'm going to apologize to your wife." And I've just decided that it all comes with a documentary. Sometimes you get so wrapped up in things that you just forget, and you say it so many times for so many years. And actually, the man trade, the whole thing was decided by someone besides she and I.
Right.
So then you go to war over it, because it wasn't that. It's not that as much as the money that's involved in it, which the company reaps the better part of anyway. And then I saw her with her child. I thought, God, this will be Ashley someday, and it's Megan now with Morgan. I mean, it's not worth it. And
Right.
I am not the man anymore. The man is whatever the people think is. And basically, we've turned it over to social media to decide who the man is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It could be Tom Brady, who's still playing. It could be Aaron Rodgers in football. It could be LeBron, who I still think is a man in basketball. He had 46 last night. That hasn't changed, It'll be Michael Jordan. I mean, I will be in some people's mind the man forever. But you got to remember, I'm sitting there with Taker and Sean, and I'm 20 years older than those guys.
Right.
And I'm there on Raw, lucky enough to celebrate that moment and that time with these guys that grew up on me. And then introduce my daughter and call her what she is, the greatest women's champion in the history of the WWE. And in my estimation, the best worker in the company. But that's just how I feel personally. I don't think there'll be a lot of arguments against that, but there'll always be arguments. There'll always be people that hate that comment. But 14 world championships, the way she handled it herself on the Today Show on Tuesday was absolutely phenomenal. I don't know if you guys saw it or not.
Absolutely, we saw it.
And I'm saying it out loud. I'm not the man anymore, and I don't know who the man is, but the people decide that.
Right.
And that's in every sport, in every field, in every phase of life. Lawyers, whatever. He's a man. You've heard that with the lawyers. You've heard it in every yourself in the podcast business. Conrad's the man. You know what I mean? And that's pretty accurate. Looking at how you've taken over this industry.
Well, let's talk.
But I'm giving it up on, and I realized, seriously, during the body of the show, I'm realizing I really got stuck on that.
Yeah.
Because I said it for so many years. And there was a time in the 80s, I was the guy.
Right.
And I got no problem saying that at all. Maybe even the early 90s. But I mean, it's like reading, it's like believing your own hype after a while.
You're right.
because you just say it so long.
Yeah.
And then you have people that say that you stand in line for the autographs. Now my competition is to see if I have the longest line at the autograph
conventions and all that.
Convention that, yeah. I mean, you're always competing. In the old days, you competed to be. I was dying to see what the number was on the documentary,
right?
And that ended up being huge. But if you're in the main event and you're trying to negotiate a contract, or you're trying to get leverage with the company, you need to always be aware of what the numbers are and what you did. I mean, that's just the way it is. And the top guys are.
You got to see the show, or most of the show.